What is up, everybody? Matty Smackdown, the host of the Wrestling All Day podcast, still working on getting the studio set up. But I want to come on here and talk about what we seen last night, because what we saw last night was possibly one of the best Monday Night Raw episodes in a long time. And I mean, there's been a couple good ones this year. There's been a couple really good ones this year. But this one might have been one of the best of all time. Like, we had the debut of the Wyatt Six. We had Drew McIntyre quitting, Otis turning on Chad Gable. We had a whole host of stuff happen on Monday Night Raw that leads me to believe this could have been and may very well be one of the best Monday Night Raws of all time. So there is a couple stinker moments, like the women's tag team match, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter versus Damage Control. That was just, it was awful. It was god awful. That kind of like, and thank God it was less than like 10 minutes, because it kind of, if it was any longer, it would have just derailed the momentum of the show. And honestly, I'm glad that it ended when it did. And I don't know if they were cheering because the match was over, or if they were just cheering because the match was over and you had to watch it no longer. But yeah, that was like the really big stinker of the night. The two Money in the Bank qualifying matches were good. EO winning was not surprising. I really wish it would have been somebody else. But I understand what they're doing. They want Damage Control to take back over Monday Night Raw. I get it. But I don't think EO should have won. She had her opportunity last year. She was women's champion for a very long time, did nothing with the championship. I feel as if she shouldn't be in this match. I feel like that could have went to Lyra Valkyria. That could have went to Kiana James. It could have went to anybody besides Io Sky, and I probably would have been happy with it. But either way, I get what they were going for, so I understand why it had to happen. What else happened in the lead up? Oh, of course, the main event, the triple threat to determine who was going to qualify for the men's Money in the Bank. Now they put Finn Balor and Jey Uso in this match. I don't like that. I feel like Finn and Jey both would have benefited from being in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Maybe there'll be another chance for Finn down the line. Maybe they'll do a last chance battle royal or something. Who knows? But I feel like Finn and Jey should both be in the match, not just Jey. I feel like Finn Balor's proven multiple times that he can do some pretty cool stuff. And I'm not going to lie, Finn having the Money in the Bank would be dope, because we'd get a whole story out of that with Damian Priest being the world champion and Finn being Mr. Money in the Bank. We have another story there. They kind of already started talking about it when he said that he would cash in and then paused and then said on Cody Rhodes. But Jey Uso, of course, winning that match and going on to Money in the Bank. Now, it was what happened after the match is the real reason why we're here. But I want to talk about, here, let's pull it up here. I want to talk about this moment right here. So last night on Monday Night Raw, after being screwed over at Clash at the Castle once again by CM Punk, Drew McIntyre has, quote unquote, quit the WWE. Drew McIntyre came out, said CM Punk. The crowd started cheering for CM Punk. Crowd kept chanting. Drew McIntyre says, I can't do this. Screw this company. And then looked into the camera and said, I quit. Drew McIntyre walked off, was getting talked to by Triple H backstage. Triple H actually swatted the camera away, which I thought was cool that they acknowledged the camera was there. They don't acknowledge the cameraman as like he's not there anymore. They actually acknowledge that the cameraman is there and this is happening before a live audience. You know what I mean? Like, before, they would just act like the cameraman wasn't there. So for this to happen, and then Drew storms off saying, I'm done. They go backstage. Actually, they were backstage, but Pierce grabs Drew, starts trying to talk to him. So Drew McIntyre has officially, quote unquote, quit the WWE. Now, keep in mind, I want to make mention of this. Drew McIntyre got screwed over in his hometown of Glasgow, Scotland. Now, CM Punk this Friday is going to be in his hometown of Chicago, Illinois. So I am a firm believer that CM Punk is going to get his ass handed to him by Drew McIntyre this Friday on SmackDown. After screwing Drew McIntyre over at Clash at the Castle, I think that since doing that in his hometown, I think Drew's going to come for blood in CM Punk's hometown. And I think Drew's going to go after Punk, and I think that's how we're going to get Punk versus Drew at SummerSlam. And Punk's going over, unfortunately. I don't need to see CM Punk on my TV anymore. It's 2024. The CM Punk experiment, that ship sailed 10 years ago. I'm good on it. There's another moment from Monday Night Raw, of course, I want to talk about as well. But the whole thing with Drew McIntyre quitting the WWE, I like it. I like this story. I like what they're doing with Drew. I think he should have won at Clash at the Castle, but I don't think he should have won the title because he would have been a transitional champ to get it to Punk, and I wouldn't want to see that. I want to see Drew win the title and actually hold the title. So I think that what we're going to do with this, I think we're going to get Drew versus Punk down the line at SummerSlam. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what they're going to do. Hopefully hopefully Punk can stay healthy and doesn't hurt himself again. CM Punk has had one match in WWE and is injured. Well, two matches technically. He had that house show match against Dominic, and then he had the Royal Rumble match and hurt himself. So I feel like if CM Punk can stay healthy, we've got ourselves a good match come SummerSlam. Michael Churro on Facebook. What is up, my dude? Hello, Matty SmackDown. Hello to you, Michael. How are you doing? I hope you enjoyed Monday Night Raw last night. I know I did. So the next thing I want to talk about in this little bit of a recap is actually what kicked off Monday Night Raw. And that was, of course, the return of the Monday Night Messiah, the architect, the visionary, the revolutionary, Seth freaking Rollins. Seth Rollins showed up on Monday Night Raw last night, shocking everybody. I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see what Michael. Angle with Drew until Punk gets cleared to possibly have the world title. Yeah, I can see it. I said this during my stream the other day when I was doing my my Clash at the Castle simulation stream on that was Thursday or Friday. It was Friday. It had to have been Friday. I feel like what they're doing with Damian Priest is like it's good what they're doing with Damian Priest. They're building a new star for the future, and I like it. But Damian Priest, I don't think represents Monday Night Raw very well. As the Damian Priest isn't ready to be the face of a company, and it's showing. Like, don't get me wrong, what Damian Priest has done in the last year, he's shown a lot of improvement. But I don't feel like where he thinks he's at, where WWE thinks he's at, is where he's at. I feel like he's beneath where he's supposed to be. I think the water went cold when he won Money in the Bank because the crowd in London, everybody was so hot for LA Knight. And when Damian Priest won, it was like, okay, good on him. He deserves it. But what are they going to do with this? And then every week for 9 months or whatever it was, he ran around like an idiot. And he finally cashed in at WrestleMania. And it was like, okay, that's great and all, but now you're the world champion. Now you got to step it up. And so far, Damian Priest has been champion for about, 2 months now? And I don't feel like he stepped it up, going on 3 months. And I don't feel like Damian Priest has stepped it up. And I love Damian Priest. I think Damian Priest fucking rules. But I just don't think where Damian Priest should be is where he's at. Michael asks, are we getting a face turn for Priest or Balor being kicked out of the Judgment Day? The way they were teasing it, it seemed like there's still that tension between them. And now with Liv Morgan and Dominic running around, and they got Braun Strowman chasing them, Carlito's just fucking showing up all the time. I feel like let's get this off the screen for a second. I feel like what we're seeing here is the very tail end, the ninth inning, if you will, of the Judgment Day. And as much as I would like to see them continue, I think it's time they slowly break apart. So Dom can do his own thing. Damian can do his thing. Finn can do his thing. I'd love to see Finn Balor as the world champion. I believe Finn Balor should have won it at SummerSlam. Finn Balor should have won the world championship last year at SummerSlam from Seth Rollins, and that's where that whole thing with Damian Priest should have started. Damian Priest should have cashed in on him, but I like where we're at. with the story, and I want to get back here. I want to touch base on this right here. So Monday Night Raw starts off. Michael Cole welcomes everybody to the show, and out of freaking nowhere, here comes Seth freaking Rollins. Yes, Michael, I still have hats available. Here comes Seth freaking Rollins, shocking everybody. I was sitting there in my living room. I just sat down with my snacks. I heard "Burn it down," and that was it. That was it. I was so happy. I'm so glad to see Seth back. Seeing him at WrestleMania, walking away, literal tears, knowing how much pain he had to be in. It's good to see him back. I feel like he should have taken a little bit longer off. Like I said, don't get me wrong. It's great to see him back, but I feel like he should have taken a little bit longer off. Make sure he's good. I'm sure he's good, but I feel like he should have taken a little bit longer off and really let it sizzle. That people really want to see Seth Rollins, and then bam, they hit us with it, and Seth Rollins comes back. However, they're hitting us with it because at Money in the Bank, Damian Priest will defend the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Seth freaking Rollins. So Seth Rollins basically just used his words. He really didn't have to say much to Damian Priest. He really didn't. Damian Priest kind of just came out and willy-nilly gave him a championship match. Damian Priest, he was happy. He said he was happy to see Seth back, but you got to believe he wasn't expecting it. Damian Priest putting his championship on the line, Seth Rollins accepting. So at Money in the Bank, what happens? Does Seth Rollins win the World Heavyweight Championship back? Does Seth Rollins lose the World Championship and then turn heel? Does Seth Rollins win the World Championship, then turn heel? The ending to the I Quit match at Clash at the Castle, Michael. Yeah, the ending of the Clash at the Castle match was kind of cheesy. I feel like AJ should have been hit with the stairs at least 2 or 3 times and kept getting back up before he finally caved in and said that he quit. I've seen AJ Styles jump off of shit higher than I've ever seen anybody jump off of anything. I've seen AJ Styles fly off the X Division cables. I've seen AJ Styles take fucking bumps that no other man ever would. And I think him cowering, I get he was handcuffed, I get it. But him cowering in fear in the corner, that wasn't the match was fantastic. I loved that I Quit match. Like I loved it from the start almost to the finish. But yeah, the ending was pretty cheesy. So again, where do we go from here? Where do we go with Seth Rollins? Turn heel no matter the outcome of the match. You know what? I could see it. I was getting there. Yeah. I do think that one way or another, we are going to, because look at his new Titantron. Look at the new shirt they just released. I wish I had a picture of it. They literally just released it today on WWE Shop. It looks like Seth's old Architect shirt. So I think that we're going to be getting a heel Seth Rollins very, very soon. And brother, I'm living for it. But Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, Money in the Bank. Priest has to win, right? Like he has to establish himself. Like I said, I don't really think he's done much since winning the title, and I think this is what he needs. This is the match that he needs. Like he had a good match with Jey Uso, a great match with Jey Uso at Backlash. He had a good match with Drew. The finish of that match, everything meshed perfectly. Everybody was where they needed to be, despite the fact Damian Priest got dumped on his head. And I'm glad he's okay. By the way, I want to put that out there. I'm glad Damian Priest is okay, because the spot where he jumps on the ropes, gets tangled in the ropes, he doesn't stop himself. His head slams right off the side of the apron, and I'm glad he's okay. I'm sure he had a fucking headache for the next couple of days. His ears are probably still ringing, but I'm just glad that he's okay. I'm glad that, it wasn't serious. I'm glad he didn't. Damian Priest needs to win this match. Damian Priest absolutely 110% needs to win this match against Seth Rollins to really put himself to where he needs to be next. I didn't watch the women's tag team match. I was actually at work when that happened. I heard it was pretty bad. I'm glad Alba Fire and Isla Dawn won because I don't think they ever should have lost the NXT Tag Team Championships to Shayna and Ronda Rousey. I think that was a bullshit call, and I will die on that hill. That was a bullshit call back then. They should have been women's tag team champions. I don't know what the hell their character is now because I don't think they're witches anymore. I like their character when they were witches. I still like Alba Fire and I still like Isla Dawn. But I heard that match was pretty sloppy. I still haven't gone back and watched it. I've been meaning to. I want to go back and finish watching the show. I only watched the parts that I wanted to watch. I go back and finish watching it. And I can see a feud between Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill coming in very soon. As much as I don't want to see it, because honestly, and this is I don't give a damn who likes it and who doesn't. The same people, like when Jade got released from AEW and was coming to WWE, there were people saying, oh, she's going to improve. She's going to get so much better. She's going to get into the performance center. She's going to do so great. You know, WWE actually has a performance center. AEW doesn't. Now, keep in mind, I don't give a fuck about AEW, and that's me being 100% real. I know this is a Wrestling All Day podcast, but I really don't care about AEW. I don't watch AEW that much at all. But to see Jade Cargill in AEW versus Jade Cargill in WWE, they're one and the same. Nothing's changed. She hasn't improved. The only thing that's grander is her presentation. Jade Cargill has not changed at all. She's not good. She's a fantastic physique. She looks better than I'll ever look in my life. But at the same time, I don't feel like where, again, like the whole Damian Priest thing. Let me bring this off the screen real quick. I want you guys to look into my eyes when I say this. So I said it about Damian Priest, and I'm going to say it about Jade Cargill. Where Jade Cargill and WWE thinks she's at, it's not where she actually is at. And that's unfortunate. But Jade Cargill is an attraction. Jade Cargill, people want to see her. So good on her. Absolutely 100% good on her. But I could see them. I'm going to bring up the comments again here in a second. I can absolutely see her and Bianca beginning a feud very, very soon. And Natalia going to AEW. Listen, let her. They can take all the ex WWE people that they want, and they'll still never reach that level that they want to reach. If she wants to go compete in the Owen Hart tournament, let her. That's really all I gotta say about that one. So we're gonna get to the part now. What I really, really, really want to talk about. So after Jey Uso wins the Money in the Bank qualifying match, I knew they were setting something up because they were taking forever. They were milking the fuck out of it. I knew something was coming. So finally, they do the long shot. Jay's in the crowd. Everybody's yeeting all over each other. Everybody's having a great time. The lights go out. Same way they went out when The Fiend attacked Finn Balor back in 2019. And we got this. One of, if not the coolest thing I've seen from WWE in a long, long time. The Wyatt Six. Now, if anybody knows me, you guys know that I was a big fan of The Fiend. I absolutely loved The Fiend, loved Bray Wyatt. I still believe he should have been the one to end the streak from The Undertaker, not Brock Lesnar. Still believe he should have beaten John Cena at WrestleMania 30. Should never have lost WWE Championship at WrestleMania 33 to Randy Orton. I am a firm believer that Bray Wyatt was somebody who was done dirty by WWE many times. And unfortunately, we're never going to see what could have been due to his untimely passing. But what we have here is the legacy of Bray Wyatt, the spirit of Bray Wyatt, the vision of Bray Wyatt coming to life in the form of his brother, Uncle Howdy, and the Wyatt Six. Now, I want you to look at this picture, and I want this to soak in because this is fucking awesome. Like, all night, I was all night waiting for this. And when it finally happened, the lights went out, Bray Wyatt's music started hitting, the door he came out at Extreme Rules 2022 popped back up. And now I'm going to be real. Like I started, getting teary eyed because it's, you know what I mean? Like Bray, anytime a wrestler passes away, it's fucking tragic, but Bray was 36 years old. Bray Wyatt had 4 kids, a wife at home. It was fucking tragic that he passed away. And honestly, I want to see more. I feel like one of the biggest what ifs in they were leaning towards, a lot of cool stuff was about to be happening. And I don't really know for sure what was going to happen, but the Wyatt Six makes me very, very happy. And with him coming out with the Uncle Howdy thing. Now, when they showed Uncle Howdy standing there in the hallway with his arms spread wide open, the light shining back. By the way, kudos to that cameraman, brave fucking cameraman, considering the fact that 45 of his coworkers just got murdered on live television. Good on him for being brave enough to continue through that. So it starts off, Nikki Cross comes out through the door, dressed as Abby the Witch, grabs the lantern. So she grabs the lantern and points to the back, which prompts the cameraman to start walking to the back. Now, at this point, the cameraman should already be shitting bricks. So he goes back there. There's 2 guys. Oh, actually, there was one. When the camera first pans back, I think it was Uncle Howdy getting into position. There was one guy off to the side. I couldn't really see who it was. It looked like Uncle Howdy with the hat, getting into position off to the side of the camera. And then from there, the camera pans and we see a couple bodies laying on the ground, and we get our first look at Rambling Rabbit, which is Eric Rowan, Redbeard, whatever you want to call him. I'm going to call him Eric Rowan. I'm assuming that's what he's going to be called now that he's back in WWE. And he had on the back of his mask, he had a second mask that was resembled Luke Harper's what do you call it mask? The Bludgeon Brothers mask. And he also had the hammer in his head. As soon as I seen the tattoos, I knew exactly who that was. So they pan through there, and then they go into the gorilla position where there's blood on the wall. Someone got their fucking brains blown out on Monday Night Raw, and I think that's fucking awesome, by the way. I think that's fucking sick. So perched up is Mercy the Buzzard, which is Dexter Loomis, who you see on the far right-hand corner of your screen right now. Then the camera goes back a little bit further through the curtain, and there's Joe Gacy as Huskus the Pig. A little bit further, a couple more bodies, and then we see this. Who the fuck put a bullet in Chad Gable's head? That's what I want to know. So as Uncle Howdy walks through, the bodies of about 25 people laid all over the place. Rob Zombie looking at Uncle Howdy. Brother, I'm for it. I am all for this. Count me the fuck in. I am so excited for what they're going to do with the Wyatt Six. I cannot wait to see what they're going to do with the Wyatt Six. I don't know if they're going to have them take their masks off anytime soon. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm hooked. Give me more. Give me more. You see this right here? Fucking inject it. Inject it into my fucking veins like Hulk Hogan injected steroids in the fucking 80s. Please give me more of that. Give me more of that. I want that as bad as Shawn Michaels wanted crack in 1995. Give me that shit. Please, please give me more of this. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So they all stand together. The crowd is losing their minds. Uncle Howdy, now, as Uncle Howdy was walking through after Chad Gable had a bullet put through his head, Uncle Howdy was walking through and he tripped on a wire. And I said this earlier, if he actually would have tripped and stumbled and fell, this would have been Shockmaster. The Wyatt Six would have been done. They would have been cooked, done, kaput, over. That's it. Thank God he recovered. And it could have just been him. All they had to do is to say he tripped over a body. He doesn't have to trip over a wire. He just tripped over a body. It's foggy. It's dark back there. He tripped over a body. One of the bodies that they took out. Simple. Thank God he didn't tumble and fucking bust his ass on live TV, though. Otherwise, the entire Wyatt Six could have been scrapped right there. But this shot here is a thing of beauty. The fireflies in the background, the fireflies in the crowd. Uncle Howdy standing there with the new Wyatt 6, even though there's only 5 of them. I get it. It's SICKS, but the S looks like a 6, so there is 6 of them. I'm assuming the 6th is either going to be Alexa Bliss, which I hope not. But my theory is the 6th member of the Wyatt 6 obviously would be Bray Wyatt. The spirit of Bray Wyatt, the vision of Bray Wyatt is guiding these 5 souls along. You know, the spirit of Bray Wyatt is what controls these 5 individuals here. And when Uncle Howdy came to the curtain, I don't know if he was supposed to or not. I don't know if it was because it's his character, because he's a fucking psychopath. I don't know what it was. But he had a big smile on his face, and it made me tear up because, like, that's the reaction he deserves. You know what I mean? After all of that, that was fucking awesome. And a big shout out to Uncle Howdy. You made us wait for a very long time. And we were starting to get sick of it. But that was worth the wait. I was there the night Bray Wyatt came back in 2022, and that place was loud. They were loud at Corpus Christi last night, I'll tell you that much. But when Uncle Howdy came to the curtain and had that smile on his face, knowing that what he just did is going to transcend himself and the Wyatt 6 to the next level, like, I feel like Bray Wyatt was right there with Uncle Howdy, walking through that curtain, going out there, feeling that energy. I think Uncle Howdy, Bo, Taylor, whatever you want to call him, I think he knew his brother was there, and I think he knew that he did him proud. I believe that if Bray Wyatt was still around, Bray Wyatt would have went, holy shit, that was fucking cool. Wherever Bray Wyatt's soul is resting right now, he watched that last night and said, you know what? That's pretty fucking cool. I feel like he did him proud. And the smile he had on his face when he came to the curtain after obliterating 25 people backstage and blowing somebody's brains out on the wall. Maybe he was just smiling because he's a psychopath, but I like to think that it was more than just that. But what an awesome fucking night on Monday Night Raw. Like I said, one of the best Monday Night Raws of all time. And I do want to talk about, I know we got to talk about this as well here. I kind of just glazed over this, talked about Chad Gable getting a bullet put in his head. That might have been the second worst thing to happen to Chad Gable that night. Because not only did Chad Gable get his ass beat backstage and possibly shot by Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt 6, he got his ass, well, he didn't get his ass kicked, but Otis finally stepped up, shoved Chad Gable down, and the Alpha Academy packed their shit and said, we're done. We're out. And Chad Gable says, you're not done until I say you're done, and you're done. You're expelled. So Alpha Academy is no more, and I'm assuming this is how we're going to get the Creed brothers with Chad Gable to keep the Alpha Academy going, if they're still going to call themselves that. But Otis finally stepping up to Chad Gable. I feel like they should have did it at Clash at the Castle. But either way, finally stepping up to Chad Gable, shoving Master Gable down to the floor, standing up for Tozawa, standing up for Maxine. I think that was awesome. Last night's Raw was pretty fucking good. Now, I seen on Facebook earlier in a group called the Mania Club, there was a guy in there complaining about how the realism, with the Uncle Howdy segment. And it's like, here's my thing, okay? One of the most popular wrestlers of all time struck people with lightning and died 12 times on TV. And that's The Undertaker. The Undertaker has been killed off more times than I can fucking count. The Undertaker he's set people on fire. I'm pretty sure he's been set on fire. He's been killed off by Randy Orton. He's been killed off by his own brother. He was killed off by Randy Orton again. He was killed off by Mark Henry. Like, there was so many things. I don't want to hear about realism. I don't want to hear about realism at all, because when you have Kane coming out and shooting fire out of his ass, shooting fire out of his hands, I don't want to hear about realism. When you got a guy called the Boogeyman running around eating worms and cursing people, I don't want to hear about realism. I don't. Save that shit for somebody who cares, because my brother in Christ, I do not care. What we saw last night was one of the coolest things that I've seen in recent memory, and I cannot wait for more. So Let me know what you guys think. What did you guys think of Monday Night Raw last night? What do you think of the Wyatt Six? What do you think about Seth Rollins and Damian Priest? What do you think about Chad Gable and Otis? Let me know. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from the people. I want to hear from the millions. That works a lot better when there's a crowd around. But I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think. If you're watching this when it's not live, make sure you comment. Let me know what you think. I want to hear your thoughts on what happened last night on Monday Night Raw. I want to hear what your thoughts on WWE as a whole are. Tell me what you think is going to happen over the next couple of months here in the WWE now that the Wyatt Six has arrived. Drew McIntyre quit. Let me know. Let me know. Talk to me. Talk to me. Let me talk to you. Yeah. But anyway, before I wrap this up, I just want to let everybody know we got a lot of cool things coming in the very near future. I'm still working on fixing the studio here. Got a couple more points of interest that I want to cover up. We're going to get a nice camera system here soon. We're going to get a nice display here. It's going to look real nice, look real pretty in the very near future. I also want to let everybody in on the secret. The teasers that we've been showing the last couple of weeks from Ruda Entertainment over on my Instagram and Facebook. Ruda Entertainment is making me a spinner belt, and I cannot wait. The belts that Ruda Entertainment makes are top tier. I've seen the belts he's made for Battlefield Pro Wrestling. I've seen the belts he's made for Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling. I've seen the belts that he's made for Cage Promotions Hot Dog Eating Competition. I've seen the belts that he made for Tantalizing Tony. And I cannot wait. I've seen some of the stuff for my championship, and I'm hyped. I'm hyped for it. So the secret is out. A new championship is being made. Luca Brasi, you can keep that old championship because guess what? I told you I had a plan, and that's my plan. I'm getting a new belt, and you can't have it. So, with that in mind, I'm Matty Smackdown, host of the Wrestling All Day podcast. Stay tuned because we have a whole bunch of stuff coming your way, including this Sunday. A very special episode will be dropping with the Party Machine, the Salisbury Swag Machine, the Old Bay Broski, the one, the only, thank God, Logie P. So, with that in mind, make sure you guys check that out. Dropping this Sunday live on YouTube. We will be in the booth with Logie P. So, with that in mind, this has been the Raw Recap, and I thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for taking some time out of your Monday to come here and chat and hang out. So for the Wrestling All Day podcast, I'm Matty Smackdown. We got hats available. Make sure you get them. Michael, I got your hat, brother. Don't you worry. I got your hats put off to the side for you. You got the merch. You got the money. I got the merch. Get at me. I'm Matty Smackdown, host of the Wrestling All Day podcast, and I'll see you guys for the next one.